please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. Let's continue our conversation with Kuldip Kaura, the CEO of Vedanta. Just before we went into a break and addressed the Godrej Properties numbers, you were indicating that how you're confident F519 will see an improvement as you know vis-a-vis F518. But if you could just give us some more details about your oil and gas business. In F518 on the whole, the EBITDA was high by 35%. The average oil price realization was $59 per tonne in Q4. Your sense of the average realizations in F519?
When we take investment decisions, like what I mentioned about investment of $2.5 to $3 billion, we calculate our numbers on a very conservative oil price of $40 per barrel. So that's our number to appraise the project. And at these numbers, we actually get an IRR of upwards of 20%. So, I mean, oil prices, of course, these days are in the vicinity of $70. So obviously, we'll have much better and positive accruals on these projects.
Well, so what about zinc prices? It's fallen nearly around 8 to 9% from the recent multi-year high of around $3,500, $3,550 per tonne. Your sense, where will it stabilize? Is there more downside from here?
Zinc prices are currently in the vicinity of $3,000, $3,200 per tonne. And zinc has a bit of a short supply, if you like. I mean, it's expected that zinc will possibly even out in a year or so. And so my assessment is that for the current year, zinc will continue in the same ballpark and maybe soften a little bit going forward. Having said that, I mean, from our point of view, we are one of the lowest cost producers of zinc in the world. Our Zinc India operations, with our less royalty, we will be able to produce zinc at around $900 per tonne. And similarly, our Zinc International, the new mine which we have opened up at Hemsberg, that's the open pit mine. And that will also produce zinc at far lower than $1,000 per tonne. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a debt reduction plan in F519 given the capex that you've lined up?
Let's look at it like this, that in the current year, we generated cash of about 8,000 crores. Which is post payments, dividends, tax, and everything else, right? So going forward, as in my earlier response, we are growing all our businesses now. Our volumes in FY19 will go substantially higher in zinc, also oil. And also our cost positions in aluminium will improve, plus other businesses will contribute. So our ability to generate a higher EBITDA in FY19, we should be looking at numbers which are substantially higher than around 4 billion which we had in the current year. So our ability to generate far higher cash flow is there, which normally actually should fund most of our expansions post our normal taxation and dividend needs.
Well, Mr. Kaura, final question before we let you go. Let's talk about your new venture. You're going to be moving into the ferrous space. What's the current status on electro-steel? Is it being contested? When do you get hold of this asset?
Fundamentally, electro-steel gives us an opportunity to value add in our iron ore business. And as you are perhaps aware, so this award has been given. This is a little bit getting contested, but I'm sure this resolution will happen. Currently, I mean, this company is about 1.5 million ton production, and this can, at a nominal capex, can be upgraded and debottlenecked to 2.5 million tons, so which is a good size. And we have also a mining prospect, and on which we are working in Jharkhand, and so this kind of tallies up, ties up nicely for this whole.
We have our technical experts with us, Sandeep Barclay as well as Hemen Kapadia join us. Hey Sandeep, hi Hemen, thanks so much for joining in. Hemen, coming across to you, your trade on the Nifty, we're down 50 points. You expect us to recover like we have seen in the last couple of days, or do you think in fact we have more on the downside? What's the trade on the Nifty?
Very good afternoon, Nigel. Thank you for having me. I have a feeling that we're close to support. The Bank Nifty is showing relative strength that is preventing the Nifty from going down. So I have a feeling either late today afternoon or Monday is when we'll see a small sort of a recovery coming in. So I'd say the downside appears slightly limited, Nigel.
Limited, all right.
And your individual picks?
I like Rima HPCL from an intraday point of view. Stock is given an upward key reversal on the hourly charts. Indicators are turning crossover buys. So a stop loss of entry at 293, target of stop loss 290, target of 299. Another stock from an intraday point of view is Tech Mahindra. Once again, deeply oversold, downside appears limited, crossover buys by the mechanical indicators on the hourly charts. So buy on Tech Mahindra at around 659 with a stop loss of 655, target of 667. Lastly, a buy on Ultratech Cement, same logic applies, Rima. Deeply oversold above the 13-hour exponential moving average, crossover buys by the MACD on the hourly charts. So buy at around 4020, stop loss of 4000 and target of 4075 from an intraday point of view.
Hemen, you said that we're nearing support levels. So you mean that you'll buy the Nifty from here? If someone is doing that, then where do they place their stop loss?
Frankly speaking, I have a feeling we walked into a correction of sorts, Nigel. So if I were to give you a Nifty strategy, I'd say sell the 11,000 call option and the 10,400 put option. I'd sell a strangle, Nigel, because I don't see either levels being violated on either side in the next week. This is not to hold for the whole settlement. This is just a 1 week trade. Sell the 11,000 call and the 10,400 put. Though the open interest max is at 10, 5 and 11, Nigel.
Okay, by the way, we've got some internals about Godrej Properties. The company's sales bookings in Q4 have seen a 210% increase. The total booking value has stood at 1,054 crore. That's the booking value. That's a 210% increase seen on a year-on-year basis. The area sold has seen an increase of 150% at I think 1.4 million square feet, which would compare with 589,000 square feet. So yes, while there was a margin loss and the bottom line was boosted on account of the other income, at least the internals in terms of the booking value as well as the area sold are looking quite good. The company has also indicated that the sales from existing inventory stood at 722 crore in Q4. They've added 4 new projects with 6 million square feet of saleable area in Q4. They've delivered 0.9 million square feet of construction across 3 cities. So these are some more details that they've given.
I think the booking value, second quarter in a row, you're getting the sales a booking value of more than 1,000 crores.
Remember, I think it's the 4th consecutive quarter. That's
so
what the
on a year-on-year basis, if you're looking at it, that's not really the way to look at it, 210%, because you look at it on a sequential basis. Last quarter, it was 1,220 crores approximately. So they maintained that 1,000 crore
run rate.
Run rate. So I guess that's what, and as Rima says, it's the 4th consecutive quarter that they have done this 1,000 crores out. For the year on the whole, the total sales booking value is more than 5,000 crores. So they're going at that sort of a run rate, and I think the street likes it. And as Rima mentioned, they're lightening their inventory as well. So good news all around, and I guess that's why the stock is up 3.5%, despite if you're looking at it just on a profit and loss basis, you know, said they're making an EBITDA loss, but this is the actual number that in fact you're looking at. On a sequential basis, there's a bit of a downtake, but it's still at around 1,000 crores, and that explains why the stock is up around 3.5-4%.
Okay, those are the internals from Godrej Properties. Sandeep, you want to quickly run us through your trading ideas?
Yes, I would say that the Nifty is about to break the crucial 10,630 levels, though we need some more evidence of that. But at this point in time, I would go with two sell calls. A sell in a Tata LXC, stop loss of 1195, target of 1135. And a sell in a Granules, stop loss 104, target 95.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for joining in. Do we have the early rates from Europe? Yes, we do. Let's get them up for you on your screen. Well, in the green for the FTSE and the DAX, so that's a gain of close to about 0.5%. The CAC is absolutely unchanged.
As we've been telling you, the GST Council is currently underway and is likely to consider levying a sugar cess of up to 5%. Now, ahead of that meet, cnbc TV18 learns that some states are not on board with that idea. Sapna joins in to fill us in with all those details. Sapna.
Hi. So this has been widely reported by cnbc TV18, the Northeast states, and not just the Northeast states. In fact, today, I suppose even West Bengal has joined in terms of opposing the very idea of the levy for sugar cess. We also understand that it could be a specific levy as well, or even an ad valorem rate, which is what is being indicated, up to 5%. We also understand that the centre at various levels has discussed options to basically try and avoid this eventuality. For example, the question that has been raised is that why don't we change the rates to basically make sure to, kind of avoid the cess kind of a situation. But it is being indicated that even that will have a different impact. It may have other consequences. Apart from that, we also understand that since there is no direct provision for a cess kind of a levy like this, because all that you have in the law right now is the compensation cess law. So it may be required, either a separate law may be required, or even some legislative changes may be, needed basically to go forward with this. But as of now, there is a lot of opposition from a lot of states. So we're not very sure whether the council will actually go ahead with this proposal. And very quickly, the other important aspects that they are also discussing, 100% government ownership of GST, and that's one. Second, return simplification. This has been doing the rounds for at least the last 6 odd months. So some kind of a decision is expected on this front. Of course, the rollout will happen later, but in terms of your filing of returns and all that, those dates may also get further deferred. Last but not the least, lower GST rate for digital payments.
Last promise, Sri Renuka Industries, that in fact is the company on our radar. Remember, they posted a rather weak set of numbers in the past quarter. The sugar segment dragged the revenues down. The trading segment also saw a sharp dip in the revenues. We have with us Mr. Narendran Murukumbi, the MD of the company. Hi, Mr. Murukumbi. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in. Well, last quarter wasn't that great. Give us some details. What's the inventory you're sitting on? What is the price of that inventory? And what is the current price of sugar?
Good morning, Nigel. Firstly, I want to point out that most of the loss that you see for this year and also for this quarter is exceptional items. We have taken full provision for all our Brazilian investments, etc., and advances, etc., linked to that. And also we have, marked down our inventory to current levels so that we've really valued it at a very conservative level. The idea is to, present as lean a balance sheet as possible now that our debt restructuring is over. So this year's results also include the entire effect of the debt restructuring scheme that we implemented in the last quarter. Having said that, obviously the results are showing a bit of the effect of the sugar price drop that happened in the last quarter. Going forward, we in Renuka, we've sold most of our sugar for this season. We have we had about 162,000 tons left at the end of March, out of a production of about 450,000 tons.
Okay, so your inventory is 102,000. What are you valuing it at?
So we are carrying it at about 27,000 rupees.
Okay, so 27 rupees.
Which is about our realization at the moment, yeah.
Okay. So, X of all the exceptionals, if you could tell us what the performance of Sri Renuka would have looked like.
No, so net of all this, we have about a loss of about 100 crores. We have a strong positive performance in ethanol and obviously a negative performance in the sugar segment, which also includes the markdown of the inventory, which I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Mr. Murugambi, what about the Brazilian unit? How is it doing in terms of revenues, losses of the same? If you could tell us, how are international markets on the whole doing?
Yeah. So the international market is close to a 3-year low. It made a fresh 3-year low last week before the 30th of April. Now in our case, as we announced on the 6th of April, we've decided to get rid of our Brazilian unit. It's been in bankruptcy protection for the last 2.5 years. So what we've done in the December and March quarters is we have taken a complete provision on all our investments and advances to our Brazilian subsidiaries. So we no longer expect any upside from there, and given the current sugar prices, it will be very hard to see any return from those assets. They are in bankruptcy protection, so we are waiting for that. We have a process going on which is disclosed along with our accounts, and whatever is the disposal value will probably go to the creditors. But as far as Renuka India is concerned, we have no more. We are not carrying any more of the investment value from that. That's all been cleaned up in the March results.
Okay, Mr. Murugambi, if you could
we've also specially made it a point. Yeah, so we made it a point also in the notes to accounts to present how the consolidated balance sheet looks now without the Brazilian assets, because that is how we will like to look at the business going forward.
Okay, Mr. Murugambi, if you could just stay on. We're getting in numbers from PVR, where on the top line, it appears to be a growth of 21%. The company's revenues stood at 584 crore, about 20 crore higher than what the street was anticipating. The bottom line has come in at 26 crore, again better than the CNBC TV 18 poll of 18 crore, and even at the margin level, the EBITDA margin has come in at 16.1%, and that too appears to be a base. So January to March quarter for PVR seems to have delivered on all counts on revenues, margins and profitability in the Jan to March quarter. The stock is reacting positively. It's now higher by close to about 1%. So who thought that the study exam season is going to hurt the revenues of PVR?
Absolutely. I think, those numbers look quite good. Top line beat, margin beat as well, and quite a sizable margin beat out there. But I think we have to cut across because Timsi is joining us. Some details coming in from the GST Council meeting. They've agreed to convert GSTN into 100% government entity. Timsi, run us through those details.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, sources tell me that the council has agreed. There's complete unanimity when it comes to conversion of GSTN from a private entity to 100% government-owned entity. The proposal was to have 50% stake at to be owned by centre and 50% stake to be owned by state. Let's see what is the final proposal. But yes, as of now, government has agreed, the council has agreed to convert GSTN from a private entity to 100% public entity. Not just this, discussions on sugar cess has not happened as yet. Deliberations are going on when it comes to incentives towards digital transactions, and not to forget simplification of GST returns. I'll keep you posted on it.
Okay, so GSTN will now become a government entity. We'll thank Mr. Murugambi as well on that note, and wish him all the best for his upcoming ventures and all his endeavors. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking to you on Sri Renuka over the last many years.
We're shifting focus to the commodity segment. We have Himanshu Gupta who joins in. Hi Himanshu, could you run us through your trading strategies? I'm sure you'll have a strategy on crude as well as gold.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. We would be looking to go short in gold in today's session. We are expecting the non-farm payrolls to be beating the estimates and in lines gold taking a hit. So in today's session, one can go short in June month's gold contract at 31,150 for the targets of 30,800, and a stop loss above 31,250 would be recommended. In similar lines, crude oil is also looking weaker to us. We expect prices to come lower, and some profit booking and shorting can be seen at higher levels. So in lines with those, one can go short around 45.80 with a stop loss above 46.20, and a target of 44.80 can be seen in today's session.
Okay, all right.